Character clash.
Nighttime Showdown. The Creeper vs. Richter Belmont. In the left corner, emerging from the shadows with his rotten smile and trench coat that smells of the last century. The Creeper, Jeepers Creepers, the winged nightmare that appears every 23 springs to renew his diet of fresh organs, with more fetish for human bodies than a plastic surgeon on sale. In the right corner, with his family legacy whip, a blue jacket that screams 90s anime protagonist and more crosses than an exorcism on Black Friday. Richter Belmont, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, the hunter who faces monsters with the same ease with which others hunt for deals on Amazon. Who will rise in this symphony of death between predatory immortality and the lineage that has left more creature corpses than a Bethesda bug? Let's roll out the analysis as if we were Death Noting down who is going on the VIP list of the underworld.
Ready?
Round 1.
Physical skills.
The Creeper, that winged monster with an appetite for human flesh, is like a cross between Freddy Krueger and a vulture on steroids. His physical abilities are as impressive as they are disturbing. Imagine Usain Bolt, but with wings and a hunger for human organs. He can fly at speeds that would make an F-16 feel like an overweight Cessna. His strength is comparable to that of the Hulk after eating a can of Popeye's spinach. And let's not even get into his stamina. This guy can take more hits than a heavyweight gym punching bag and keep going like nothing happened. Did you know he can regenerate body parts? He's like a cannibalistic Wolverine, but with worse breath. The Creeper is basically what you get if you cross Jason Voorhees with a pterodactyl and give him steroids.
Trivia.
A curious anecdote about the Creeper is that his appearance was partly inspired by Spring-Heeled Jack, a creature from 19th century Victorian English folklore. Like the Creeper, Spring-Heeled Jack was said to be able to make incredible leaps, which explains our winged monster's supernatural agility. Who would have thought that a British urban myth would inspire one of the icons of modern horror? Richter Belmont, the vampire hunter with an Indiana Jones complex, is no slouch in the physical skills department. This guy is like if Captain America decided to specialize in whips instead of shields. His agility would make an Olympic gymnast look like a bull in a china shop. He can jump higher than Mario after eating a mushroom, and his stamina is comparable to a Kenyan marathoner with Red Bull in his veins. Richter is so strong he could use Dracula as a punching bag and so fast he could dodge bullets like he was in the Matrix. And let's not forget his legendary whip skills. It's like Spider-Man decided to trade in his webs for leather. Did you know he can do backflips while throwing axes? He's like a circus ninja with a fetish for crucifixes.
Trivia.
An interesting fact about Richter is that in Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, after defeating the final boss, the player can play as Richter again to unlock new abilities and explore unreleased areas 6. It's as if Richter said, wait, I'm not done showing off my physical skills yet, and decided to take an extra tour of Dracula's castle.
Round 2.
Combat skills.
As far as combat skills go, the Creeper is like a blender possessed by the spirit of Bruce Lee. Its claws are sharper than Gordon Ramsay's comments in Hell's Kitchen, and its movements are as unpredictable as the plot of Lost. It can go from jet-like flight to shark-like attack on dry land faster than Sonic running through rings. Its fighting style is a mix between Jackie Chan's martial arts and Godzilla's subtlety in Tokyo. The Creeper has the added bonus of being able to regenerate, making it the supernatural equivalent of an inflatable boxing dummy that always gets back up. Its tactics include the element of surprise, nothing like a winged monster coming out of nowhere to ruin your day, and its ability to smell fear, which is like having a built-in emotional GPS. Did I mention it can use parts of its victims as spare parts? It's like Mr. Potato Head, but with a macabre twist worthy of Hannibal Lecter.
Trivia.
Did you know that the Creeper was involved in human sacrifices during the time of the Aztecs and was responsible for the famous disappearance of the colonists of the Roanoke colony in America in the late 16th century? It seems that our winged monster has a more extensive historical resume than most history teachers. Richter Belmont is the Chuck Norris of the Castlevania world, but with better hair and a magic whip. His combat skills are a mix between the elegance of an Olympic fencer and the brutality of a WWE wrestler. The vampire killer whip in his hands is like Excalibur, but with more reach and fewer rocks. He can throw axes, daggers, and holy water like a juggler possessed by the spirit of Van Helsing. His special moves, like the Hydrostorm, are so devastating that they would make Thor with his hammer look like a child playing with a plastic hammer. Richter has centuries of family experience hunting vampires, which means he knows more tricks for taking down the undead than Buffy and the Winchester brothers combined. His item crash is like unleashing a miniature apocalypse, perfect for parties and monster extermination. Did you know he can summon the Grand Cross? It's like he turns the stage into a giant rotating crucifix, making even Dracula consider changing professions.
Trivia.
A curious anecdote about Richter is that, despite being an expert vampire hunter, he admits in Castlevania, Nocturne that he still needs to practice his use of magic in order for it to be a viable option in combat. It's like the local superhero admitting that he's still taking night classes to improve his skills.
Round 3.
Survival skills.
As far as survival goes, the Creeper is like a cockroach with wings and a bad temper. This guy could survive the zombie apocalypse and complain that there aren't enough fresh brains. His 23-year hibernation cycle is like having the most extreme power-saving mode in the universe. Imagine being able to sleep for 2 decades and wake up fresher than a cucumber, ready to wreak havoc. The Creeper has such a keen sense of smell that he could find Waldo in a sea of red and white stripes, especially if Waldo was scared, and boy would he be. His ability to regenerate using parts of his victims is like having a macabre first aid kit always on hand. The Creeper is so durable that he could use Thor's Mjolnir as a pillow and complain that it's too soft. Did you know that he can survive impalements, gunshots, and even being run over by a school bus? It's like the Roadrunners while Coyote has finally evolved to get revenge for all those cliff falls.
Trivia.
In Jeepers Creepers, Reborn, the Creeper is first shown emerging from its slumber, weak and frail, beginning by eating animals until it gathers the strength to hunt humans. It's as if the most feared monster needs a full breakfast and coffee before beginning its day of terror. Richter Belmont is the Bear Grylls of the vampire hunting world, but with better fashion sense and without the need to drink his own urine. His survival skills are so finely tuned that he could traverse Dracula's castle using only a whip and his wits, as if it were an extremely dangerous theme park. Richter has more stamina than a marathon runner doped up on Red Bull and determination. He can leap over lava pits, dodge deadly traps, and take on hordes of monsters without ruffling his fabulous mane. His diet consists primarily of chicken magically hidden in walls, making him the king of supernatural fast food. Richter is so adaptable that he could survive in the vacuum of space armed only with his whip and a healthy dose of holy water. Did you know that he can use hearts as ammo for his secondary weapons? It's as if his cardiovascular system was a mystical weapons factory. In short, Richter could survive the end of the world and complain that it wasn't challenging enough.
Trivia.
A curious fact about Richter's survival is that his story began accidentally when he was attacked by Dracula's general, Death, during a trip to meet his beloved. It's as if fate told him surprise. You're a vampire hunter now in the middle of what should have been a romantic date.
Round 4.
Unprepared.
In an unprepared encounter, the Creeper is like a hurricane with teeth and bad breath that hits without warning. Imagine Godzilla, but with the ability to fly and a more selective appetite. His primary tactic would be the surprise attack, descending from the sky like a carnivorous meteor with one mission, to get a taste of those delicious Belmont organs. The Creeper would use his supernatural speed to confuse Richter, moving faster than Sonic after drinking 3 espressos. His claws and superhuman strength would be like combining Freddy Krueger with the Incredible Hulk, but with wings. The Creeper wouldn't hesitate to use the environment to his advantage, throwing objects or even vehicles like deadly frisbees. His stamina would allow him to absorb blows that would knock out an elephant, and his ability to regenerate would make him a recurring nightmare for Richter. The creeper is basically what you get if you cross an alien predator with a mutant vulture and give it a crash course in martial arts. Without preparation, he would be a storm of claws, teeth, and winged terror.
Trivia.
An interesting bit of trivia is that the creeper can speak English, as revealed in a deleted scene from the first Jeepers Creepers movie. Imagine Richter's surprise upon discovering that his opponent not only wants to devour him, but can also trade witty insults in the process. Richter Belmont in an unprepared encounter is like MacGyver with a magic whip and an arsenal hidden in unlikely places. Though surprised, his generation's trained reflexes would kick in faster than the time it takes to say "Die, monster. You don't belong in this world." His vampire killer whip would be in action before you could say "Suck that, Dracula," creating a security perimeter around him more effective than Chernobyl's exclusion zone. Richter would improvise using anything within reach, turning everyday objects into deadly weapons against creatures of the night. His agility would allow him to dodge attacks as if he were in an extreme version of dodgeball, but with claws and fangs instead of rubber balls. Richter could summon subweapons seemingly out of thin air, as if he had a dimensional pocket full of daggers, axes, and holy water. Without preparation, Richter is like an overtrained Boy Scout with a magic whip and a vendetta against everything that goes bump in the night.
Trivia.
A curious fact about Richter is that he has Belnade's blood, inherited from Sypha Belnades, which gives him the potential to use magic. However, in an unprepared confrontation, he would probably complain about not having practiced his spells enough, relying instead on his trusty whip.
Round 5.
With preparation.
With preparation, the creeper would become the most terrifying strategist since Sun Tzu, but with wings and a taste for human organs. Imagine Hannibal Lecter with the ability to fly and regenerate. First, he would study his prey like a supernatural stalker, learning Richter's every move better than his own mother. He would set up traps worthy of Saw, but with a flying, carnivorous twist. The creeper would turn the battlefield into his own horror buffet, laying out decoys and ambushes that would make the traps in Dracula's castle look like a playground. He would use his ability to smell fear to anticipate Richter's moves, like an ultra-modern emotional GPS. He would likely create a fortified nest, like a twisted version of the Batcave, but with more body parts and fewer high-tech gadgets. The creeper could even prepare spare body parts for quick regeneration, like a macabre first aid kit. With preparation, the creeper would be like a well-planned nightmare with wings and a terrifying strategy.
Trivia.
In Jeepers Creepers, Reborn, it is revealed that the creeper has human followers who help him lure victims. Imagine Richter's face when he discovers that he is facing not just one monster, but an entire cult. It's as if the vampire hunter suddenly found himself in the middle of a twisted version of The Village of the Damned. Richter Belmont with preparation time is like Batman, but with a whip instead of a tool belt and centuries of family experience instead of childhood trauma. First, Richter would study the creeper like he was preparing for the final exam of Advanced Monstrology 101. He would prepare an arsenal that would make the Resident Evil inventory look like the toy section of a supermarket. Richter would fill the battle area with holy water, turning the terrain into a spiritual minefield for creatures of the night. He would strategically place crosses, creating safe zones as if he were playing a Vampire Slayer version of Monopoly. Richter would likely train extra hard, making his acrobatic jumps and whiplashes more precise than a Swiss watch. He might even call upon the help of other vampire slayers or mystical allies, turning the battle into a supernatural version of The Avengers. With preparation, Richter would be like a military general with a PhD in monster extermination and a magic whip as his main accessory.
Trivia.
An interesting anecdote is that Richter formed a strong connection with Maria Renard, becoming adoptive siblings. In a battle with preparation, he would probably call Maria to help him, turning the confrontation into a very unconventional family reunion against the creeper.
Round 6.
General data.
The creeper. Physical skills, 9. Combat skills, 9. Survival skills, 9. Unprepared, 9. With preparation, 9. Total, 45. Richter Belmont. Physical skills, 8. Combat skills, 8. Survival skills, 8. Unprepared, 8. With preparation, 9. Total, 41.
Final round.
Decisive showdown.
On a dark and mysterious night, the air seemed to be permeated with an ancient evil, as if time itself had stopped in a place where light barely dared to enter. Richter Belmont, descendant of the legendary family of vampire hunters, walked steadily down a desolate road. His whip, the vampire killer, hung from his belt, glistening dimly in the moonlight. He had received rumors that a servant of Dracula, a dark and cruel being, lurked in the depths of a forgotten region. Richter, always ready to confront evil, had followed the clues to an old abandoned church in the middle of the countryside. But this time, he would not face a vampire or a creature that would come straight out of Dracula's castle. No, what awaited him was something much older and stranger, the Creeper. A demon that woke up every 23 springs to feed for 23 days. A being that didn't just hunt by instinct, but chose its victims with surgical precision, sniffing out their fear and darkest desires. And tonight, it had forgotten something new, defiance. Richter arrived at the church with his usual confidence. The place was shrouded in eerie shadows, broken stained glass cast distorted shapes on the walls, and the silence was so deep it seemed to scream. Suddenly, a sound broke the calm, a heavy fluttering, like that of a giant crow. Richter looked up just in time to see a winged figure descend from the top of the bell tower. "So you are the evil that stalks these lands," Richter muttered as he uncoiled his whip in one fluid motion. The creeper landed in front of him with a twisted grin on its grotesque face. Its yellow eyes shone with a mix of hunger and amusement. The first attack was swift. The creeper threw one of its sharp shurikens made of human bone at Richter, who dodged it with superhuman agility, spinning around as if he were dancing on a moonlit stage. The whip cracked through the air like thunder and struck the demon in the chest, drawing a guttural roar from him. "Is that all you got?" Richter said with a confident smile. But the creeper was not easily intimidated. With an agile movement unexpected for someone of his size, he leapt at Richter with his wings spread out like a dragon straight out of a Dungeons & Dragons game. The hunter barely had time to raise his sacred cross, the glow of which repelled the demon momentarily. The confrontation continued like a chess match between two titans of good and evil. Richter used his impeccable training in his sacred arsenal, throwing daggers, holy water, and the ancient strength of the Belmont whip. But the creeper had centuries of experience hunting human and non-human prey alike. Every time he seemed cornered, he would deploy some new ability, flying into the shadows to attack from impossible angles or launching improvised weapons made from human parts collected during his hunts. At one particularly intense moment, the creeper ripped a column from inside the church and launched it at Richter like a giant projectile. The hunter rolled across the ground just in time to avoid being crushed and responded by throwing holy water onto the ground in front of the demon. The liquid sizzled upon contact with the creeper's claws, forcing him to retreat. "Go back to the abyss from which you emerged," Richter shouted as he charged forward with his whip glowing as if imbued by the same light. But the creeper had other plans. Just as it seemed Richter was going to deliver the final blow, the creeper fully unfurled its wings and let out a deafening shriek that shook the foundations of the building. Before Richter could react, the demon lunged at him like a bolt of dark lightning and caught him in its claws. The force of the impact sent them both crashing through one of the broken stained glass windows and onto the ground outside the church. Richter struggled with all his might as the creeper held him down with inhuman strength. He tried to use his holy cross again, but this time the demon was faster. It snatched the weapon from him and threw it away before biting into his shoulder with its razor-sharp teeth. With a last desperate effort, Richter managed to hit the creeper in the face with his whip, breaking free momentarily. But he was wounded and exhausted. Each movement cost him more effort as the demon seemed to grow stronger with each passing second. Finally, the creeper took advantage of an opening in the hunter's defense and knocked him to the ground with a devastating blow. He leaned over him with that macabre smile that seemed to say, "I always win." And then, silence. When dawn broke, there was no trace of either Richter or the creeper anywhere near the abandoned church. Some say the hunter miraculously escaped, others believe he became yet another victim of the insatiable demon. The only thing that's certain is this: when you're up against something as ancient as the creeper, well, let's just say that not even the Belmonts have all the answers. And so it was proven, even heroes need days off, or maybe they should just avoid abandoned churches.
Do you agree with the result? And if not, tell me why. I hope I at least entertained you. I'll tell you a secret, give it a like and subscribe, it's free. If you like this video, please subscribe, like and share.